Industrial I zone pursuant to Table 153.050.020 in the city's municipal code. The location is 5021 Calmview Avenue, Units A and B. The applicant, Dennis Aquino, and the case number is CP869. The applicant is proposing to establish the repair business with storage occupying 2 units, Units A and B, of approximately 2,958 square feet. The subject site is surrounded by industrial zoned property to the north, east, and west. The property to the south, however, is zoned R1 residential. The proposed auto repair business will be compatible to the uses to the north, east, and west, and the residential uses to the south, although adjacent to the subject site, will actually be buffered by the existing building. The units are located side by side at the very front of the property, fronting Calmview Avenue. A partition wall will remain between the 2 units, each with their own office area and restroom. Each unit will also have a bay door that will allow for vehicle repair and/or storage indoors. Conditions of approval have been added to minimize any impact to the surrounding uses, including conditions that regulate the hours of operation and repair activities. Conditions have also been added to prevent the outside storage of equipment, parts, and vehicles, as well as the outside storage of vehicles overnight. A condition was added that states that all repairs shall be done within the confines of the building. And after publishing the staff report, staff also decided to add a condition of approval that requires the applicant to obtain any necessary permits from the Air Quality Management District for the installation of a spray booth within the building for any vehicle that needs a body repair and paint. Staff provided you with a memo, it's right in front of you, this evening, along with the updated resolution containing the added condition. That would be condition D. Staff has reviewed the application and operational characteristics and has determined that with the added conditions of approval, the proposed business will not have an adverse impact to the adjacent properties. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution PC 18-19, entitled "The Resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Baldwin Park adopting the findings of fact and approving a conditional use permit to allow an automobile repair business and storage within the I industrial zone pursuant to Table 153.050.020 in the city's municipal code. The location, 5021 Calmview Avenue, Units A and B. The applicant is Dennis Aquino, case number CP869. This concludes staff's presentation.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions by any of the commissioners? I have a question. So they're just gonna update the permit, or what specifically are they asking? Are they gonna, because isn't it already an automotive place?
I don't know what the existing operation is there now. My assumption is that it should be vacant. If not, they've probably already started occupying to establish this business. But it's a whole new conditional use permit. This is a whole new use, a new business to the city.
Okay. And are they going to be painting cars and stuff there, or just fixing them?
The application indicated just general repair. Now, we added that condition that I mentioned to make sure that if they do decide to add any kind of body repair, because in our code, it's classified under the same thing. It's just auto repair. So they can do that, but the condition is added so that we can make sure that they end up getting permits and an approved spray booth as approved by AQMD, or Quality Management District.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll now open up to the public. If you wish to speak on this, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your residence.
My name is Dennis Wang. And we are occupying the building right north of this subject property. We're on 5029 Conview Avenue, and we're using the property as a warehouse. I believe, I could be wrong, I believe that current use of that property, it might be some kind of motorcycle or automotive repair. I am not exactly sure. They are fine. They do not bother us at all. But I appreciate that you guys mentioned about having AQMD do some kind of approval if they ever need to do any kind of spray booth. Because as of right now, we do smell a lot of paint coming from not that particular unit, but other unit in the area. So I appreciate that, having that approval as part of the condition. My question basically is, we don't mind having auto repair in the area, but there is already automotive repair across the street that is occupying all the parking on the street. And so having more auto repair, does that affect the parking situation? Because right now they actually use our parking. Whenever it's not enough, they just come over to our property for parking. So that is my main concern regarding parking. Like one of the conditions that you mentioned, that they are not supposed to have storage outside, all that. I think that is good, except that I don't know how you guys can regulate that when there's existing problem from other properties or, with the same use. But, I'm not against having that repair business. I'm just trying to see if there's something that you guys can do to make sure that this kind of thing do not happen. And I know this subject property, they are also frustrated because the repair shop across the street actually park on their side, and it's using the whole entire section, for their own parking for the repairs. That's it.
Sir, what kind of business do you have?
We have storage. We do import export. We use as warehouse. So we do not do any kind of manufacturing or repairs. So all we do is product in, packaging, product out, labeling.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if, I think that parking on the public street is something that's out of the planning commissioner's realm. We just deal with the permits for making sure that the businesses are up to code. Because we just had this discussion last meeting where they're building condos and, they got the big rigs parking on the street right in front of the houses and stuff already. They're having trouble with that. But us as a planning commission cannot do that. That needs to be brought to the city council, I believe, or
First of all, the Public Works Department.
Public Works?
Right.
Okay.
For example, some parking has a sign that says those who are not there for that purpose can be towed. Yeah. So that's something that the Public Works Department can work on if you want them to.
So I suggest get in touch with Public Works, and maybe they can start putting signs up on your business and the other businesses for them to not park there, or they'll be towed away.
So at least from a planning perspective, I know that the conditions of approval prohibit them using the parking within the property for outside storage, but can the conditions of approval go one step further and stipulate that storage cannot occur on the property or on the street? Is that something that is possible?
It is possible. However, the process for enforcing on the street will require a two-step process. One, Public Works needs to get involved, and they would have to take it to City Council.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
So it would have to go through Public Works regardless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All of these begin with the Public Works Department.
Got it. Thank you.
I hope we helped you out there, sir.
Ask him to come up, too.
Okay, can you please come up to the podium?
I just want to add something that to what you just said. Personally, I think you would be penalizing this new business for not able to use outside parking since other people is using it. My purpose is, I don't know, maybe communicate with them to let them know that they should not be doing that once the other person stops doing, using the street parking as their own storage. I guess it's part of my frustration. We did talk to police department and public works. They try hard to get something done, but it's been years. They can't really get anywhere. But I would not want to add additional condition to this new business that they cannot use certain things. I just thought I brought it up, and maybe it's part of what you guys do within your approval process.
I have a question for you, sir. Okay, so the cars that are being parked on the street, are these people that are coming as the customers, or are they leaving parking or cars that are being repaired on the street?
It's not. It looks like it's the same car there a lot, or maybe they leave it for a long time.
And that works there?
No,
Someone that works there?
It's for repairs.
Oh.
So a lot of those cars are really old cars, and they just take up the whole, this 5021, the whole entire front of that property is occupied by the other person that's doing the repair across the street. And their side is occupied by them, and also the residential section on Nubia. It's all full of their cars. So I know a lot of people, including this subject property, they are frustrated with it. So I heard that you're limiting to certain parking conditions that they can store their car. That's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Does anyone else wish to speak? Seeing none, we'll close the public communications for this. And is there a motion to pass?
I have a quick question, Honorable Chair. I know we're voting on issuing a permit here, but it's a separate issue when it comes to the parking outside on the street. Would it be possible for us to actually make a recommendation for them to actually put signs outside where vehicles cannot be put on the street after certain hours?
You can, as a planning commission, send a letter to the Public Works Director.
Okay.
So I'm sure Mr. Rodriguez could pen some sort of letter to that effect.
Yeah, I can help coordinate and facilitate, but I think even a first step, I'm sorry, Honor Commissioner Luis Rodriguez, Interim Community Development Director. I think as a first step, I think we would like to also take a look at the conditions of approval for that business. And again, I just want to, I know the Commissioner Lourdes. She asked the right question that I was about to ask: is if you had witnessed repairs on the street, you could just nod yes or no. Did you see the repairs on the street from the? Okay, so that is kind of a violation of the operation conditions of a business, especially with auto repair, to do any repairs on the street. So what I'm guessing is that they're doing some repairs, maybe not major repairs on the street, but they're also staging their cars on the street to get them into their bay. And I think they just need more room, but they need to also be told that they can't be doing this on the street because it's impacting other businesses. So I will help coordinate that request. But twofold with Public Works, but also on the planning end, I think we're going to take a look at the other business as well. So if you can provide the address to the other business, just so we can take a look at their case and their conditions and see if those conditions can be enforced as well. Does that make sense? Okay.
All right. Any more questions? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to pass?
I'll motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It passes 5-0. All right, next on the
I'm
document.
sorry, for the record, that was with the additional condition that was.
Yes.
Yes.
Condition
Right
D
here.
Yes.
of AQMD, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And actually, the condition D is kind of what you're talking about. It has to be on the property.
So can I say something?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So I know that we addressed the parking, or we're going to look into the parking for the business from across the street. But he did mention that it appears that there's the smell of paint coming from one of these neighboring, I don't know, other suites, I guess. If there's a way to kind of pinpoint where this smell of paint is coming from, can we approach the business in the same way by verifying whether, I guess, so I guess I don't know when AQMD require, or when the code required a AQMD approved spray booth. I guess, how should I ask this question? Okay. So if there's spray paint being emitted and the smell is breaching walls and making its way into other businesses, and a conditional use permit for the neighboring business stipulated the requirement for an AQMD approved spray booth, and it is not using it or was never authorized to spray in general, can we look into that? I mean, I can't imagine that it's either, well, first legal or safe for the residents and, well, for paint to be.
I think it's a concern that we should take a look at it and see how it is that we currently monitor. And maybe Abe can answer that because he's been longer. But my curiosity is to see if we actually get those certificates after the fact to put in the case file, and how often do we check. But yeah, I think we're going to need to talk amongst staff to see how we can enforce and what is the procedure to have that communication with AQMD if in fact we need them to take a look at that.
Right, and now we also don't know the situation and in terms of the other businesses, because yes, we are making the assumption that there is a conditional use permit. However, some of these businesses could have been here long enough to not have a conditional use permit. However, that doesn't mean that they're not subject to the requirements from Air Quality Management District. Now, Air Quality Management District does have inspectors. They do go out and inspect, and if a complaint is made to AQMD, they can go and check.
All right, thank you. Next is, I believe, permit for a convenience store?
Oh,
Go ahead.
no, it's a reports of officers, pretty much going back to the 7-Eleven application that was here back in May. And the reason for that is that we wrote the resolution number incorrectly, so it was approved by you all with the wrong resolution number, so we came back to correct the number. So it's not a public hearing, it's just going back to make sure that we have the right resolution number, because that's an important part of the
Okay,
application.
now I have a question. In May, I was hospitalized, so I wasn't here. Do I recuse myself from this?
No, this was from last meeting, if I'm not mistaken. You were
It
here.
was when we had 3 commissioners. As I explained to staff that this is not a public hearing. It's not a quasi-judicial action on your part. All it is correcting a mistake. So all the commissioners do not have to know the factual basis of this underlying case. All you have to know is that the number was wrong. So that's what you're voting on, to correct the number. So you can participate.
All right. So, any questions about this by the commissioners?
She has another question.
Oh no, I just was gonna read through a little bit extra. If
Oh,
you guys
go
want
ahead.
Me to. But yeah, so the request is for the Planning Commission to readopt and read a new resolution number for the conditional use permit CP 858 for the new service station and convenience store for 7-Eleven. And that was the convenience store had an off-sale beer and wine type 20 ABC license within the FC Freeway Commercial SV Sierra Vista Overlay Zone. So that's at 13853 Garvey Avenue. And pretty much, again, on May 23rd was when the public hearing occurred, and it was approved with a vote 3-1. And again, the resolution number was incorrect, so we've corrected it to 1817. Yeah.
All right. So, those in favor of changing the number? Do we?
You need a motion.
Oh,
I'll
do I have a
motion to approve.
I second that.
And again, for the record, this is merely changing a number. It's not changing anything else.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And I do believe that that is it for today.
I'd just like to introduce our planning volunteer, Melissa Chipras. So she's helping us out, and also make the announcement that I made earlier that Jonathan is no longer with the city. So she's kind of filling in for that. And if you haven't met her, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hello, Melissa.
Welcome aboard, Melissa.
Welcome. All right. And anything
And
else?
Really quick for the record, I want to apologize to Commissioner Flores as I butchered her name. I'm still trying to get used to everybody's names. Oh.
No problem.
All right. Thank you. Seeing there's nothing else on the agenda, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0. We are adjourned.